Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thank you very much for participating of this webinar organized by Doxity in partnership with emlyon Business School. We're going to tell you all about how to become an international leader with an IMBA from emlyon Business School. Tonight, we have a luxury panel with us, Matteo Pedriglieri, IMBA Recruitment Manager, and also Niti Srivastava, who is an MBA, IMBA Alumni and Recruitment Manager too. My name is Lucia. I will be the presenter tonight. Just bear with me for a couple of minutes until everyone can join. We are having so many people from so many different countries participating tonight. In the meantime, feel free to write on the chat box that you will find right here below in the Zoom menu. You can let us know where you're connecting from. You can say hi. We'll be really pleased to know where you're watching us and listening to us from. Then during the presentation, if you may have any questions, please place them on the Q&A box that you will also find on the Q&A on the Zoom menu right here below, and we will answer them all at the end of the presentation. If you have questions about admissions, about the curriculum, about being a student from this IMBA, and Niti is an alumni, so she will be more than happy to tell you all about her experience. So thank you very much for being here with us tonight. Just let's wait for a couple of minutes until we can start this presentation of this excellent business school from France and Lyon. We are going to present specifically tonight this IMBA program with Matteo Pedriglieri, the recruitment manager, and also Niti Srivastava, sorry. She's an IMBA alumni and also a recruitment manager together with Matteo. As I was saying before, right here below in the Zoom menu, you will find the chat box and you can write and let us know where you're connecting from. You can say hi, and during the presentation, you have any questions, you can place them on the Q&A box. So you will find right here below in the Zoom menu, and we'll be more than happy to answer them all at the end of the presentation. Just bear with us for a couple of minutes. My name is Lucia from Doxity. I will be your presenter tonight in this webinar that we are honored to organize together with emlyon Business School. We will tell you all about how to become an international leader with an IMBA from emlyon Business School. Our panel tonight we'll have Matteo Pedriglieri, who is a recruitment manager from the IMBA at emlyon Business School, and also Niti Srivastava, who is an alumni from the IMBA at emlyon Business School, and also a recruitment manager together with Matteo. So thank you very much for being here with us tonight. Just give us a couple of minutes and we will start the presentation right away. In the meantime, if you want to say hi, just write on the chat box that you will find here on the Zoom menu. And if you already have, or if you in the presentation, some questions may arise, you can always put them on the Q&A box and we'll be more than happy to answer them all at the end of the presentation. Matteo and Niti here are pleased to, hi, good evening, Barati. Thank you very much for being here and for saying hi. They will be more than happy to answer everything about the curriculum, about admissions, about also the life of an IMBA student. How is it to be there during the program, and how your professional profile changes after graduating from this International MBA from emlyon Business School. Hello from Bolivia. Hello, Carlos. Thank you very much for being here with us tonight. Thank you very much for saying hello. As I said before, my name is Lucia from Doxity, and tonight we are presenting this webinar on how to become an international leader with an IMBA, an International MBA from emlyon Business. So without further ado, I will just leave the floor to our speakers here tonight. So Matteo and Niti, you can go ahead.
Good evening, Lucia. Good morning and good evening to everyone connecting today. I'm Matteo and I'm the recruitment manager for the full-time MBA at the emlyon Business School. And here with me there is Niti, which is one of our MBA alumni from the 2021 cohort. And today she joined the recruitment team. I'm in charge of the recruitment for people coming from Europe, Oceania, Middle East, and both Americas. And Niti, she's in charge of the recruitment for all those coming from Africa region and Asia region. So let's start with our presentation.
So yes, so thank you so much everyone for joining today. And I would like to begin this presentation by asking you all something that you can see on the screen, which says Fit for 55. If anybody has any idea what Fit for 55 is, I want you to put it in the chat box. And I would really like to know whether you are aware of this or not. So if anybody has any idea what Fit for 55 is. So basically, Fit for 55 is Europe's target of reducing net greenhouse gases emissions by at least 55% by 2030. So you have a lot of European countries which are moving laws and legislations, and they want the businesses to take part in it and help them achieve this target and become climate neutral by 2050. And so that is why we are making the future leaders in Europe more responsible and help them transform their organizations and make a positive contribution to the society. And so for this, in the IMBA program, we have integrated 33 key sustainability and CSR competencies. So no matter what course you are taking, we are always committed to supporting you and leading and acting responsibly. So with that, I would give you a brief about the points that we will be covering in today's presentation. We will go through the program structure, the admissions requirement, why you should do an MBA, why do you want to do an MBA, and we will also help you identify what makes you unique and stand out from the crowd. What are the GMAT and English test eligibilities, and what is the interview process and the digital test, and finally, how can you finance your MBA? So emlyon, as you know, is one of the top 15 business schools in Europe, and it has a lot of reasons for that. Firstly, it is one of the oldest European business schools, founded in 1872. And it is also amongst the top 1% of the business schools with triple accreditation. And the MBA that you receive at emlyon is officially recognized by the French state as well as all the European states. So it's going to be a huge advantage to you. We have multiple campuses across. We have campuses in Asia and Latin and Africa, and also in Europe, which is in France. But the MBA program that we have here is basically delivered in the Lyon campus, face-to-face. As you can see that we are one of the highly ranked business schools, and especially we are ranked number 12 worldwide for international mobility and number 25 worldwide for value for money. And of course, the rest of the rankings, they are easily available on the internet. We encourage you to go and find out more about it. So basically, a lot of people or participants, they want to pursue MBA is basically, we can categorize them into 4 reasons. Firstly, they want to reinforce their managerial skills. They are already managers, but they want to look at other aspects of the business. They want to adopt new trending issues, and they want to get a global vision, or they want to develop their personal skills, leadership skills, or even if they want to change their track and get more prepared for a more strategic and decision-making job in their organization. That's where this MBA is going to help them. And this MBA is going to accompany a significant change in your posture towards the way you look at problems and towards the way you find solutions to these problems through strategic and global vision.
So now we'll move to the program structure. Before to start with the program structure, I want to just to add that we used to have 4 kind of participants doing our full-time MBA. Those that want to change the path of activity, those that want to become entrepreneur, those that want to get a much more strategic position in the same field of activity in which they have been working until today, and those that want an international mobility. And as Niti has underlined, we are ranked number 12 in the world for international mobility. The program structure. So as you can see on this slide, we have something that is called pre-program. Pre-program is going to start for all those already enrolled since mid-May, more or less, with what we call level up courses. What this means? It means that every one of our participants came from a different background. So to make sure that everyone has the same level and the same knowledges before the program will start, you will have a few hours to do 100% online to complete before you will come on campus. These classes will be about finance, accounting, strategy, and marketing. Just to make sure, once again, also if you come from, for example, from a finance background, it will be a refresh, but you will learn more about like marketing and strategy. If you come from marketing, of course, you will then refresh marketing and you will learn from about finance and the other topics. As you can see, we also offer French language accelerator classes, which will run since August 28th. For all those that doesn't have any kind of knowledge about French, and for all those that want to join, this is not mandatory. The level up courses are mandatory to complete before the intake start. The French classes, you can participate if you want, is highly recommended. And they will run for 2 weeks. This will be the opportunity to start to have a French starter pack to help you with the daily life, because of course the MBA will be 100% in English, but you are going to spend at least 1 year of your life in Lyon, in France. And also if Lyon is a very international city, it's always good to have few knowledges about French. So in September, we officially start with the MBA program, and the official kickoff will be on September 11. First half of the program is going to be the core courses. What the core courses are about. The core courses are 360 views about how companies work, which means that you're going to study about finance, accounting, human resources, supply chain, marketing, leadership, management, etc. And for the majority of the core courses, you will have also real projects to work on. What does it mean? It means that, of course, you will have classes by professor, you will have to prepare essays, you will need to study, but you will directly apply the skills that you're learning from the classes on real projects. And on this, I would like that Niti could maybe give us a sneak peek about what was your experience, which kind of projects, about 3 days, 4 days projects you have been working.
Yeah, so as Matteo said, that most of your courses, almost all the courses, it's very project oriented. So it's very pragmatic and you have a very hands-on approach. And these projects are like real company cases. And it's not something that you will learn in magazines, or it's not a built-up case. It's a real project, and we have partner companies, big media companies like Euronews, and I remember doing a project with Accor, and which is an international hospitality chain. So it's a very good learning experience, and it actually, you kind of remember what you learned in class because you've already applied it, and it's actually applicable. So that's really a very good part.
And through the first semester, there is also one-day learning trip to Geneva. Maybe you can give us also a little feedback.
Yes, so the learning trips are I would say, one of the best parts of this entire program because you actually get a very immersive experience. You're not just sitting in class and watching videos and listening to people and interviews. You actually go to that place. So when we went to Geneva, it was we visited these international organizations like United Nations and WTO and World Economic Forum. So we see how these international organizations, despite having countries and different laws, state laws, they work together for a common, for a common goal. And we have businesses which are spread across different states, but they how do they manage all these differences in laws and atmospheres and environment? That's really nice to see, and we get to meet people from these different international organizations.
And then we can say that the first semester will end more or less around the end of February. And in March, you will start with the specialization. However, in March as well, it takes part the second learning trip of the 11 months program. The second learning trip, this is a longer learning trip because it takes, it runs, for 1 week. It runs in a European city. In the past, for example, our court went to Finland, Niti's court went to Berlin. This year as well, our MBAs went to Berlin. And so next year, we don't know which city will be the learning trip. What is sure is that it's going to be a European city. What is sure is that is part that is mandatory in our MBA. The flight tickets or train tickets are not taken as part of the tuition fee of the MBA. However, the hotel and half of the meals during the learning trip are taken by the school, and it's a very unique experience. Which once again, I invite maybe Niti to give us a sneak peek about. What you have done in Berlin?
So it was a week-long trip, and we visited different companies, right from very established companies up to the startups who are doing especially really well when it comes to the green energy and the sustainability and CSR field. And it was really nice to see how people or how people when they get together and they have these innovative ideas and they get the right ecosystem. So we basically were exploring the startup ecosystem over there. We were meeting a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs and heads over there. And of course, Berlin is one of the most I would say advanced ecosystems when it comes to startups and entrepreneurship. And we here at emlyon, we also support a lot. It is, we have the oldest incubator, which promotes the entrepreneurial spirit. So if you have an idea, a business idea, but you're looking for the right tools and the right atmosphere, it is here at emlyon. So yeah, it was a really good experience. We were not sitting in the classroom. We were actually walking on the streets and going to different companies and understanding all about business.
You also have like sometimes to enjoy the city.
Of course. The classes end at 4 or 5, so they end at 5 even during the learning trip, and then you have the evening to yourself to go out with your friends and explore the city, explore the culture that's over there. So yeah, of course, that's there.
The objective is to, as Nidhi said, to go in another European city to meet face-to-face representative of a lot of different companies and to understand how business goes in another European country. So this happened in March, and in March as well, you will start with your specialization. As you can see in this slide, in specialization, we have 9 different paths. You will choose one of them. Here just read names as business development, consulting, or finance, or marketing, product management, etc. The point is that you will have, if you choose, for example, to specialize in business development, So you will have 6 to 7 elective courses related to that. Now, the second part is very flexible. What this means? It means that you can choose to do just that 6 to 7 elective courses related to the specialization that you choose, or you can even choose to add 3 to 4 more elective courses to arrive up to maximum of 10 elective courses, because you will have the opportunity to pick, for example, elective courses from other specialization which are not the specialization that you choose. There is no stress about choosing the specialization, because since September, once you will be on campus, you will have the opportunity to exchange with the professor, to ask to them what you're going to learn, if you're going to choose one specialization rather than another. They will guide you in your choice. Despite of what other business school does, that asks to you to choose your specialization before that you join them on campus. In our case, you will before came here, start your first semester, and through the first semester you will choose your specialization. This is why, also because in November our exchange department will come to the class and will present to you the elective courses that you can eventually take in some of our business school partner. What that means? It means that, for example, you can choose a block here at the emlyon, taking all the block here at the emlyon, and rather than to pick 1 or 2 more elective courses at the emlyon, you can eventually apply to electives in a business school partner in Europe or outside from Europe, for example, in Switzerland, in Italy, in UK, in Germany, in Philippines, in Brazil, in Peru, in Canada, etc. And this is a huge opportunity. Why? You are not going to get another diploma, but you are going to get a certificate from another top-ranked business school, and you are going to develop your network further, even more. Niti, you, for example, I remember that you have done one elective in a business school partner.
Yes. I did my electives in sustainability management with MIT Politecnico, which is in Milan, Italy. And I had 3 days of classes over there. And I went there, and it's, as you said, Matteo, it's not about just doing the classes. It's about developing your network, meeting new people. And I met a lot of good people who were working in Milan and who were coming there, and they were part of my cohort. So there was a lot of interaction. There was a lot of exchange of ideas and experiences in the class itself. And the best part was the professors. The professors were really, I would say, they were welcoming. They were very helping, and they gave us the perfect guidance, I would say. And of course, you get a certificate. It's certified that you've done exchange program with MIT Politecnico, which is one of the top-ranked European schools.
In this case, you went to Politecnico, but for example, just to name other, we have exchanges with St. Gallen in Switzerland, we exchange with WHO in Germany, just to give you like some names. As Nidi said, for example, in our case, going for an exchange in Europe, it was 3 days of exchange. Of course, there are exchanges outside from Europe, which will be longer, 2 weeks, up to 1 month, 2 months, for example, because of course you're not going to leave like France to do an exchange, for example, in Philippines, Thailand, or like Canada for 3 days. Of course not. There is, so let's go back to the elective courses. There is a maximum, as I said before, that you can do. Why? Because in parallel with the specialization that you will do since March, you will have to develop also a 6 months consultancy project. Let's explain this a little bit better. In November, once again, we have company partners which will came here directly on campus and will present to our participants a real problem that they are figuring in that moment. Now, our participants will apply up to 3 these different projects, according, for example, to the field of activity from which they came from, or according, for example, to the field of activity in which they would like to work after the MBA. So this will also be like a huge opportunity to start to test yourself in real projects, because it's a problem that company partners are figuring in that specific moment once they came on campus. So you applied up to 3 of these different projects, and then it's up to the company partner to choose between 3 up to 5 participants of our court, which since March are going to work as external consultant on their project. Because for this MBA, you don't have to write a master thesis, but you have to develop this 6 months consultancy project. You have to write a report for the school and also a report for the company partners, which will be presented directly in front of the company partners. What is also interesting to know is that sometimes what happened in the past is that some company partners could eventually propose a job contract to someone that had worked like in their projects. So first of all, it's going to be a real consultancy opportunity. Secondly, it's going to be the opportunity to use all the skills that you have learned for the first semester, and of course, all the skills that you keep learning for the second semester during your elective courses. Nidhi, for example, which was the consultancy project that you have done?
So I did my ELP with one of the companies here in Lyon. And it was basically a company that was developing software for pharmaceutical industry. And the reason why I chose this ELP, this company as my ELP project was because firstly, I come from a technical background. I was a software engineer, so I was very well aware of how softwares are developed and how you can, it gives a better understanding, as you said, that it can either relate to something that you're coming from or something that you want to do in the future. And for me, it was something that I also wanted to do in the future. So it was basically consulting in strategy consulting. So they were basically facing a problem with their, with the promotion and business development of their company. And they wanted some consulting advice on that. So that's why, it was a perfect mix for me. So that's why I chose this project for my ELP, and it turned out to be really good. The client was very happy. So yeah, it was a good experience for me as well.
So this is one of the opportunity. Otherwise, as mentioned before from Nidhi, our incubator is the oldest one in France. And if you have an entrepreneurial idea, rather than to do this 6 months consultancy project, you can eventually work on your business idea here directly in our incubator. Then the MBA will end in July, which is the mandatory 11 months. And if you want to extend, for example, you will have the opportunity to do a longer internship, because during the second semester you can do eventually an internship, but not longer than 1 or 2 months, because you need to be in class also whenever you have like the classes, which are face-to-face and are mandatory. So after July, you can eventually do a longer internship, or you can also do a longer exchange. Rather than to do an exchange of 3 days, for example, during the second semester, you can extend to 16 months during the 16 months option and do, for example, 4 to 5 months exchange in other business school partner. Throughout the year, you will have the opportunity to work with our career department staff, which is a huge added value, because they will be there since September, helping you to prepare your CV in the specific way to apply for jobs in France rather than in other European countries, because Europe is a very huge and different job market according with where you want to go to work. They will coach you and help you to prepare your CV, for example. They will have coaching session, mentoring session. They will organize meeting with up to 30 events in the campus when company partners will come. Sometimes they will have open job opportunities for MBAs. Most of the time will be the opportunity to develop your network, because the career department will be there also to help you understand and to grow up your network in France and in Europe. And you will also have the opportunity to work 5 to 6 times one-to-one with your career coach, which will be very helpful to help you to better understand how to apply for jobs, how to prepare yourself, how to handle interviews, or whatever you need to discuss with them. For example, if you think that you need to develop better skills in negotiation about salary, you can work on that, etc. Just to give you an example. So this will be since September until the end of the program, but I will also say after the program as well, which means let's imagine that you sign a contract since July once the MBA ends, and then after 2 years you decide to change again company or industry. You can again be in contact with our career department staff, which will be there again to help you and support you through your applications. Of course, you will have like a huge support, but at the end of the day, it will be up to you. I will say since March, April, to send your CVs and candidature to the companies. It's not like the career department that is going to do the interviews at your place. This, of course, not. So let's move to the admission requirements. To be eligible, there are 2 different ways. The most common is to have 4 years of studies and minimum of 3 years of work experience in a full-time job, which means that unfortunately internship are not taken in consideration. So before the intake will start, you will need to have complete minimum of 4 years of studies and minimum of 3 years of work experience in a full-time job. Otherwise, if you have 3 years of studies, in that case you can be still eligible. If however you have minimum of 7 years of work experience, in that case more than the online candidature, you will have to fill in a couple of more specific documents in which you will need to explain why the jury should take in consideration your application also with 3 years of studies rather than 4. According with your background studies or from the country where you came from. Of course, if you came from an English-speaking country, you don't need to present like the English test. The GMAT, GRE or TAJMAT, which are the management tests, you will need to present as well according with your background studies. Of course, just one. And to discuss, we will go a little bit deeper about GMAT and English test later on in the presentation. This assessment is something that you will have to complete in your online candidature. A few questions about how you position it yourself according with the skills that you are going to learn tomorrow in our MBA. And what you will need as well is 2 recommendation letters from professional. Which means if you don't want to tell to your employer that you could eventually leave for your for an MBA because you don't know yet if you are going to be admitted, if you are going to decide to join an MBA, etc. We understand, of course, 100%. So you can ask the recommendation letters to some colleagues, to former colleagues, to someone that used to work with you in the past, etc. Keep in mind that to start your application, the recommendation letters are non-mandatory at the beginning. You will need to provide us however later on. So during the through your application process, of course, what will be discussed is about your career projects. You want to understand your motivation, your expectation. You want to understand how you align with the values from the school. And I always say, identify what makes you unique. So find like the specific experience, for example, that you have like for your studies, for your work experiences, to explain us better who you are, what you want to do, which will be your added value to our court, and why the jury should take in consideration your application, why you should be admitted in our court, which has limited seats. So let's go to the GMAT or management test, generally speaking, and English test. My recommendation is always to prepare in advance, to do not wait 6 months, 1 year and take one shot for the test, because you never know what you're going to get as a score, first of all. Second, because our mentality at the emlyon as early makers, it's like learning by doing. So my recommendation is always doing the real test compared to a mock test. You will be in the real situation, and you will learn much more doing like the real test, maybe after 1 month, 2 months that you have been studying, rather than to study for 6 months and take it just one shot. Take in consideration that all scores from GMAT, GRE, and TASMAJ are taken in consideration. Of course, higher score you can present to us, more opportunities to get admitted you will have. The English proficiency test, what we accept is IELTS test with a minimum score to be admitted with an overall of 6.5. TOEFL test with a minimum score of 90, and TOEIC test with a minimum score of 850. You can apply, and this is something that I want to underline, you can apply, and I highly recommend to apply also without the management test and the English test, because you can go through all the application process also without this test, and you can provide us later on. So the application, how it works. First of all, you open your online candidature, you fill in the mandatory question. You will put what is mandatory is your CV, your passport, your diploma, the application fees, answer to all the mandatory questions, and then we can move to the interview. So the 2 recommendation letters you can provide to us later on. The management test and the English test you can provide to us later on. For the interview, you need to demonstrate which are your motivation, which is your project. We want to learn more about your personal and professional experiences. It's good, of course, as during a job interview, to know, in this case, about the school and about our values, about the MBA. We want to understand the motivation that you have to join an MBA and to join our MBA. We want to understand about your project and your plan. We need to understand why the jury should admit you rather than someone else. After the interview, you will have access to an online digital test, which will take 1 hour, and this will be presented by Niti or me after the interview. This slide is just to give you an idea that you will have 1 hour of digital test, which will be for you the last step for your application. So at the end, Niti and me, we take your online candidature, all the documents that you provide, our notes that we took for the interview, the result from the digital test, the notes of the professor, because part of the digital test is going to be evaluated directly from one of our professors. We collect everything and we present your candidature in front of the jury. Then we come back to you with a final decision, which could be positive, negative, or sometimes the jury can ask for 1 more interview. So you will be invited for a 1-to-1 interview with our program director or with one of our MBA professors. Now, let's move to the end part of the presentation, and is about how to finance your MBA. So the total tuition fee about the full-time MBA at the emlyon is €39,800, and we also estimate a living cost per month, an average around €1,200 per month. Of course, this is an estimation of living cost, which depends on also your it depends on everyone. It could be like 1,000, else could be like more or less. How to finance your MBA? First of all, you could eventually be eligible for a scholarship from the school. So in your online candidature, you will have documents to fill in asking for a scholarship. Our scholarship committee has a budget to allocate. So for the year, of course, more we go until the end of the applications, less budget they will have. But still, you could eventually have opportunity to get a scholarship which could go up to 20%. Otherwise, if you present an excellent GMAT score or GRE score, which is the in the case of GMAT minimum of 650, in the case of GRE the equivalent, in that case you will get the excellent scholarship for sure, which is the highest, and it will be 30%. This is how you can eventually finance your MBA, getting a scholarship from the school. Otherwise, what I always recommend is, first of all, have a look if your employer wants to sponsor you. Second, research for local scholarship. A lot of times, a lot of students, they don't know that there are in their country organization, institution which provide scholarship for those that want to go to study abroad. So Google it, do research, and you will probably have the chance to find some organization which offers scholarship in which you can apply. Otherwise, there are a lot of students used to apply for loans. If you have a guarantor in France, we can put you in contact with our bank partners in France. Otherwise, what a lot of students, international students, used to do is to be in contact with Prodigy Finance, which offer loans to international students which wants to go to attend studies in top university all around the world. And in this slide, you have their name and their contacts. So if eventually you're interested, I'll let you directly contact them. Now, a sneak peek about the MBA cohort of this year and how generally is the MBA at the emlyon. This year the cohort is made by 30 participants, 38% female, which is one of the highest percentage of female participants in the MBAs in Europe, and 62% of male participants. 18 different nationalities. This is what is going to enrich you as well, because we don't want you just to learn from our professor, from the classes, from the projects. We want you also to learn from the different backgrounds that everyone has. That's why the jury takes care about who is going to be admitted or not, because we want that every one of you brings something to the table. We want that every one of you is going to enrich our court. The average age is going to be 33 years old. We have participants between 26 up to 41 years old. The average is 33. We ask a minimum of 3 years of work experience, as I said before, but we have participants within 12, 14 plus years of work experience. The average, once again, is 8 years of work experience. As you can see in this slide, we have participants coming from all kinds of sectors, coming with different kind of functions, and going to all different kind of sectors, going to all different kind of functions after the MBA. So the program is 11 months. What is mandatory? Face-to-face classes, you need to be present for 1 year in Lyon. It's taught in English. Next intake is September 2023. General management with opportunity to specialize. Mandatory career track. The help from the career department for all the year, and based in Lyon, and 2 learning trips, as we said before, with Niti. Last but not the least, quick sneak peek about the city of Lyon. Maybe Niti quickly in 1 minute about Lyon.
Well, I mean, this is one of the most beautiful cities that I've come across, and very, very French, very, I would say it's called the gastronomical capital of France. It has amazing...
Of the world.
Yeah. The world plan of France. And it has, the city life is very lively. And, you know, if you can imagine a typical French city, I think so Lyon fits that picture very well. And the best part is that it has all the beautiful elements of the Parisian life, the life that you can imagine yourself in Paris, but minus the crowd, minus the traffic. It's a beautiful, wonderful historical city, and I think so. It is comparatively less expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
So 40% less expensive than Paris.
Yeah, I can also share like my experience, because I'm not French, I'm Italian, and I'm living here in Lyon since 2014 actually. And as Niti was saying, it's like, first of all, it's 30% less expensive than Paris, 30% less expensive than south of France as well. It's a very international city. To give you an idea, around 1,000 to around how much? 100? Yeah, 20,000 people. The international students came every year, and 28,000 of them are international students coming every year. It's the second economic city in France, which means that once you are abroad, everyone think about Paris because it's the capital. Of course, that's normal. But then you will discover that Lyon is the second economic city. Lyon, it's a very, it's like the,
very well connected
exactly.
to all major cities in France and all over Europe. So,
and it's also the French Silicon Valley, because a lot of startups are born in Lyon. A lot of multinational companies are based here. The region is one of the most industrialized region in Europe. A lot of companies or industries in the region. It's just next to Switzerland, Luxembourg, Italy, Spain, if you want to have a look also for jobs in other countries after your MBA. And it's just like, I don't know, I'm in love with the city because, of course, otherwise I wouldn't be living here since 9 years.
And me, like I have continued, like I've just finished my MBA, and it's beautiful. The city is beautiful, so lively, so welcoming. I mean, especially for international students.
Yes.
Very welcoming, very warm, and I am pretty sure, like once you come here, you leave the city.
And you also have like all kind of events, as you were saying, like all the best that you can get like in big city.
Absolutely,
but like
even more, like
even more,
which is
the Light Festival, which we invite you to Google it, Light Festival Lyon. And you will see which kind of like events you can experience in Lyon.
Beautiful. We just need a reason to celebrate. So
here are our contact details. Don't hesitate to connect with us. The last thing that I want to say is don't hesitate to contact us. We will schedule a one-to-one meeting to see, according with your background studies and work experiences, if you need to take the management test and English test, because this it depends on like which is your background, because sometimes some profiles, some students can get eventually a waive. But this we will like discuss. We'll be more than happy to answer for this question specifically one-to-one. So now, Lucia, we are more than happy to answer. We see that we already have a few questions from the audience.
Yes, we are. Thank you very much, Matteo and Niti, for such a wonderful presentation. I kindly invite our speakers to leave their email addresses on the chat box so that our participants tonight, they can just easily copy them and save them.
Yes.
If you would also like to leave maybe a link to get further information or to apply.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they will. Thank you very much for that. So we will start with the Q&A section. If you have questions or if some question comes up while we answer to the ones we already have, feel free to put them on the Q&A box. We have already quite a few, some about the program and some about Niti's experience as an IMBA alumni. So we will start with the first one. Why the French language is relevant for the business school?
So I will take this.
of course.
What I want to say is French is not going to be essential for your MBA, and is not going to be as well essential for your daily life in Lyon, because as Niti and me we said, Lyon, it's a very international city. So it's not about that. But if you plan after the MBA to work in France, also if all our MBAs, they go to work for big multinational company, also if, of course, they are going to work in English. However, in that case, of course, you will be in France. So it's recommended to have around a B1 to B1, B2 level to get easier through like application and interviews, because they would like to test your French during the interviews to get a job in France. Also, if of course you are going to work in France, in English, sorry, all our MBAs that are working like in Lyon, in other French cities, they are working in English, but still like the companies wants to test your French, because if, for example, they ask you something in French during a meeting, if you are going to, you need just to understand and be able to answer them in English. That's why the French classes are highly recommended at the beginning of the MBA. If you want to take, we are more than happy. They are not to be enough, because you will need to develop by yourself before that you come further here the knowledges of French about B1 to B or B2 level, but the school will offer to you those 2 classes to start. And also around April, you will start again few classes offered by the school. So this will be like a starter pack, let's say.
And I think so it's very necessary to get the full flavor of French life and life in Lyon. It's good you have some basic knowledge about French, and that's exactly where we help. We offer these French classes.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm putting right now on the chat box the contact information from Matteo and Niti. They kindly passed to me. You will find also there on Niti's information a link to book a call. If our participants, okay, here there's a link to schedule a call with Matteo too. Putting it on the chat right now. I'm sure they will be more than happy to receive your request. So talking about the language aspect of the admissions, there was another question here that says, what kind of language certificates do you require and in which level?
About French or about English? Sorry.
Well, it doesn't specify, but I guess we can.
So I guess it's about English, because it's what is requested to join our MBA. So the English tests that are accepted are the IELTS test within an overall score of minimum of 6.5. Otherwise, you can provide us a TOEFL test within a minimum score of 90. Otherwise, you can provide us a TOEIC test within a minimum of 850 score. Otherwise, the Cambridge with a minimum of C1 level.
Okay. Thank you very much, Matteo, for that. Another question says, okay, sorry, okay, hello. How about accommodation? I've heard that's a big issue in France.
Maybe you want to answer on this?
Yeah, I mean, accommodation, as we mentioned before, a lot of students, especially international students, they move to Lyon for studies. And so it's a rat race when it comes to accommodation. So the earlier you book, the better it is. The more chances you have of finding the accommodation in the right area of the city where you want to live, and the right kind of accommodation that you want. So yeah, in terms of accommodation, I wouldn't say it becomes an issue later, the more delay you do, but I think so you're going to find some really good places to live if you start early. And
also, like the school supports in 2 different ways. First of all those that are admitted and enrolled will have access to a few documents to help you to prepare your stay in Lyon, with a lot of tips, a lot of also website or partnership to have a look for an accommodation. Secondly, Niti and me, we are always more than happy to share our personal experiences as foreigner here in Lyon, special particular tips, or also being there also to help you to figure it out which will be the best accommodation choice, or place to live according to what you're looking for, because there are those that want to live just next to the campus, those that want to live in the city center, those that it depends. So we are always more than happy to give you some tips, a few more recommendations, more than what you already will get from the school, according with our personal experiences.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. So I found the question I was looking for before. It's about the admission. Good evening. Thanks for the presentation. Could I do the interviews from remote just to avoid moving to France if I'm not
Yes,
sure?
yes, of course. Of course, the interview we do 100% online. You will be, once you have completed and submitted officially your candidature online, you will be invited for a one-to-one Zoom call video, of course, which will take between 30 to 35 minutes. And we will schedule that interview, of course, according with your agenda.
Okay, thanks a lot. So another question, is it possible to do international experiences outside of Europe?
Yes, of course. I don't know if in record there was someone going outside from Europe, Niti?
Outside of Europe.
For the exchange.
For the exchange?
For the exchange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had Carla who went to Thailand.
Okay.
For a month's exchange. And it was a very good experience for her because, of course, with the classes, you get to enjoy a completely different Asian city, and you meet a lot of people who are working in that country. So you build a lot of connections over there. So yes, of course, you can go beyond Europe as well. You can go to Canada, you can go to Brazil, you can go to what are the Southeast Asian countries. Yeah.
Philippines, Peru, Thailand, yeah.
Japan.
In any case, for this, just to be clear, we don't give like today a specific like a list of business school partner which you could eventually go, because every year we also have like a new one. Every year we have like more than the previous year. So don't stress about that. You will have a lot of opportunities about exchanges opportunities for the second semester, and everything will be presented to you during the first semester.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question about admissions. What kind of working experience do I need to have? In which field? Do you perform background checks?
No. To give an example and to give an idea, our participants, they come from a very diverse, it's a very diverse cohort in everything, from nationalities, from background of studies, because we have like engineers, we have those that have been studying like communication, marketing, those that have been studying finance, those that has like a PhD, those coming from chemistry. So it's a very diverse, and those coming from very diverse functions as well. So those that already have, for example, managerial experience, those that doesn't have at all, and of course they are coming because they want to develop like leadership and managerial skills. So we don't require a specific field of activity as experience about your work. So
okay.
don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you. So we arrived to the questions that I guess are direct to Niti. So yeah. The first one, what background did you have before the MBA, and how did it help to raise your profile?
So basically, I was a software engineer. I started off as a software engineer. I was working with Accenture back in India, and then I moved and I changed my industry. I went into education industry. I started working as a project manager with a group of schools and colleges doing digital transformation for them. And I also got the opportunity to work with startups. So it was very tech-based, as everyone can see. Like my career track was very tech-based, all technology, software development, digital transformation. And I was actually looking for something which can give me a push towards more managerial positions, which are like on a higher level in any organization. And that's where this MBA came into picture. And that's why I decided to do an MBA from emlyon, because firstly, it's going to give me a very good international exposure. As mentioned by Matteo repeatedly, we have a very diverse cohort. So I have friends not only now, I don't have friends only in India. I have friends in Brazil. I have friends in Spain. I have friends in China. I have friends in Vietnam. So a lot of people and me, we are very well connected. So international exposure for sure. You get a very good opportunity to enter the European market. So, with the French master's degree, which is recognized by all European states, it gives you, and the fact that EMU is one of the well-reputed and highly ranked European schools, you get that visibility to a lot of international companies, not only working in France, but all over Europe. And and I wanted to kind of give my career a push in the in the managerial direction, and that's how I got motivated to do my MBA. Yeah.
Thank you, Niti. There's another question related to what you were explaining before, which says, why do you choose this MBA among the others on the market? I don't know if there's anything else you would like to add about your choice.
Yeah, so basically, as I said, that others in the market, I had the opportunity to do my MBA back in India as well, but I didn't choose it because I wouldn't have got the level and the level of international exposure that I got over here at EMU. And secondly, I could have, of course, when you are looking for international exposure, of course, it's not just France, you can apply to other European schools as well. But the reason I chose emlyon over other European schools is firstly, because it is very strategically located in terms of the country. So you have access to the Netherlands market, the Luxembourg, and Germany and Italy. So Switzerland, all these places, they are always looking for people who have a tech background. So it was kind of suiting or suitable for what I had been doing for so long. And secondly, thirdly, was because I kind of did my research and I found out that the French degree, the master's degree, is recognized by my government back in India as well. So it was a big push and it was a big motivating factor that, okay, yes, if I do an MBA and I get a master's degree here in France, it's gonna help me if I choose to move back to my own country and continue my career.
Okay, Niti, very interesting. Thank you very much. I think it will help a lot of people that maybe are changing about, are thinking about changing fields, if that's possible, if that can work. This is a proof that with a program like the International MBA, it's highly possible. Well, the last question we have left is a little specific, always to Niti. Who was your favorite teacher and why?
Oh, well, that's so difficult to choose because we have had some amazing professors. Amazing professors. I mean, whether it's finance, whether it's strategy, or even the entrepreneurial program, the New Ventures program course that we have. I have some wonderful, wonderful professors in class. I would say if I have to choose one, firstly,
forced to choose.
Yeah, if
no offense intended to the other professors.
Remember that this webinar is a recorder, so we will show to the other professor.
That's what I have loved each and every professor in some way or the other, but I would say one of my favorite courses was change management. So it is run by our previous former program director, Rhoda Davidson, and she is an amazing, amazing professor. She's an amazing guide. She's an amazing tutor, and especially the topic that we studied under her was change management. So we study a lot about finance, strategy, and human resources. But the one important link that connects all of this is change. the first step to bringing new things in an organization is bringing in change. And we as humans are very resistant to change that happens, even in our lives and in our work and everything. So how to convince people in an organization to bring about change in the organization is something that we often overlook, and it's very important. So it was one of the most amazing courses that I did, and I did it with her. She is an amazing, dynamic personality. I think so Matteo would agree to that.
I agree 100%.
Hands down, she is one of the best professors and assistants that we have at IMBA.
I was not in class, but I've been collaborating, of course, with Professor Rhoda Davidson for 1 year. As Nidhi said, she's the former director of the MBA, and I agree 100% with what Nidhi said. Yeah,
yes,
definitely, it's an added value.
She's an asset.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's great. It says a lot about the program that the former students are so think so fondly of the professors and the classes, and of course the fact that it was hard for you to choose one is a good sign. It means that all of them are pretty good. So thank you very much, Matteo and Nidhi. We arrived to the end of this presentation, unfortunately. Thank you very much to our participants who stayed until the end. I would like to invite you to give a final message to our prospect students, maybe, for this IMBA.
Nidhi.
Well, I'm going to speak like in both the roles. So firstly, I'm going to speak as a recruitment manager. If you have any questions, any queries about the program, about what is the process and what are the requirements, you are more than welcome to drop me an email. You are more than welcome to book a call with me. I'd be very happy to interact with you and answer all your questions. And secondly, now I would like to speak as an alumni. I'm telling you, MBA is a life-changing experience, and it's one of the most, I would say, of course, after MBA, you just rise in your career, and it's another way for you to come back to studies. So you're going to take a step back, you're going to be a student again, you're going to meet new people, you're going to experience different culture from the culture where you're coming from. So it's going to be really, really great for you if you take the decision to do the MBA. And especially if you do it at emlyon, I can say you from my personal experience, it's going to be fun.
Perfect. On this, I think that we don't have anything more to add. I want to thank all the audience. Thank you, Lucia, to hosting us in this webinar.
Thank you. It was really a pleasure and an honor to present this webinar tonight. I have already put again the links where you can book a call with Nidhi and or Matteo for further information. If you are really interested on knowing more about this international MBA offered by emlyon Business School, then if you would like to obtain a certificate of attendance issued by Doxity, you can send your request to webinar@doxity.com, specifying the webinar you're referring to and with your first and last name and the email address you use to register for this presentation. So thank you very much again, Matteo and Nidhi, for this wonderful presentation. Thank you very much to our participants for being with us here tonight, and we will be looking forward to see you again in the next webinars organized by Doxity and emlyon Business School. Have a nice evening.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.